Hello students, class 12, subject Business Studies. Today we will learn about principles of management. What do you mean by principles of management? They are the statements of fundamental truths which serve as the guidelines for decisions and actions of managers. The principles of management is given by a great classical management theorist, Henry Fayol. Now, let us learn about his historical background. Henry Fayol was born in 1841 in France. He was a mining engineer and a great classical management theorist. He was also known as the father of general management, or we can also say that father of modern management. He wrote a book in French language, that is Administration Industrielle et General. It is the name of the book, okay? And in the common language, he wrote a book which is named as Industrial and General Administration in 1916. Also, he gave the 14 principles of management, which we will discuss one by one in detail. So let us go through the 14 management principles of Henry Fayol, which is first, division of work or division of labor. Second, balancing authority and responsibility. Third, discipline. Fourth, unity of command. Fifth, unity of direction. Sixth, subordinate of individual interest to general interest. Seventh, remuneration. 8. Centralization. 9. Scalar chain. 10. Order. 11. Equity. 12. Stability of tenure of personnel. 13. Initiative. And 14 is the last principle, that is esprit de corps. Okay, we will discuss these all 14 principles one by one in detail. Hello students, class 12, subject Business Studies. As we have learned already the 14 principles of management, now one by one we will learn, that is the first principle, division of work. Okay, this principle suggests that total work should be subdivided into small parts. As you are seeing in the picture given, it is divided into 4 parts. Okay, the manager which comes and gives the instructions to the 4 departments, and the work is allocated in the 4 divisions. Okay, the small parts, 4 divisions it is allocated, so that the work should be done efficiently. Second, each part of the work should be allocated who is expert in that part of the work, which will leads to specialization, less wastage, and reduces the risk. Okay, if the work is divided into the small task and assigned to the trained specialist, okay, then it will be helpful in taking the advantage of specialization. Okay, and what is the main intent of division of work? It is to produce more and better work with the same effort which is done, and it is the most effective and efficient way to use the human effort. This principle of Fayol is divided into the separate departments. Okay, there are how many types of the departments? 4 types of departments, which is production, sales, finance, and marketing, and many more departments can be there, but basically in this picture I have given you the 4 departments. So the division of work is necessary before doing the work in an organization. Okay, now comes to the second principle, which is balance should be there between the authority and responsibility. Okay, now what are these two terms means? Authority means the right to give the orders and obtain the obedience, okay, or the power to take decisions. As discussed in my first point, it is authority means power to take decisions. Okay, and what does the second term mean? Responsibility. It means obligation to complete the assigned task or assigned job on time. Okay, so these two should be togetherly. There should be no difference between these two. Authority should also be given to a subordinate by the manager, and responsibility should also be given at the same time to a subordinate by the manager. Okay, if these two terms will go togetherly, must go together, then there will be a balanced environment. Okay, as according to the fuel, there must be a balance between authority and responsibility. Excess of authority without matching responsibility may result in misuse of authority, whereas excess responsibility without adequate authority may lead to failure of organizational goal. Now let us read this. Authority means power to take decisions. Responsibility means obligation to complete the assigned job on time. Authority comes from official and the personal factors. Official authority comes from manager's position. Personal authority comes from qualities like intelligence, experience, moral worth, and past services. Authority without responsibility results in the irresponsible behavior. Responsibility without authority makes people ineffective. Okay, these all are the features which I have given you in the form of a points to of both authority and responsibilities. And the last is that it must, both of them must go together. A balanced environment would be there, and no misuse of any of the authority, or no failure in an organizational goal lie. Hello students, class 12, subject Business Studies. Today we will learn about the third type of the principle of management, which is discipline. What do you mean by discipline? Discipline is obedience, application, energy, behavior, and respect shown by the employees. It is the sincerity and the obedience towards the organizational rules and regulations, and which is very necessary for the smooth functioning of an organization. Okay, it is of two types which is discussed. First is self-imposed discipline, which comes from the within the individual, and the second is the command discipline, which comes from some authority expressed through rules, regulations, and customs. So two types is, first is self-imposed. It is indicating that the individual inside or the within the individual the discipline comes. Okay, the individual himself or herself follows the discipline. Okay, and the second is the command discipline, which comes from the manager. That means the manager should also be disciplined and should follow the disciplined behavior, okay, with the employees. According to the fuel, the good superior at all the levels, fair agreements, no penalties, all these types of the functions helps in maintaining the discipline. Okay, and discipline should be maintained not only by the employees, it should be maintained by the managers also. Now comes to the fourth type of the principle of management, which is unity of command. It means that a person should get orders, instructions from only one superior. An individual cannot serve two bosses at the same time. This leads to confusion, misunderstandings, and conflicts. Okay, so basically there should be only one instructor or the one superior of the group at a time. Okay, so that no misunderstanding occurs, no conflicts will be there, and no confusion in doing the work should be there, and ultimately the work will go on and goal would be achieved. Okay. Now we will learn the fifth type of the principle of management, which is unity of direction. Unity of direction states that all those activities of an organization whose objectives are the same should be kept under one manager and one plan. Unity of direction is different from unity of orders or unity of command. It is related to the decisions divisions of actions and grouping. Okay, it is each group of activities with the same objective must have one head and one plan. Unity of command talks about the reporting relationship of the personnel at all the levels. And unity of direction talks about the functioning of an organization in terms of grouping of activities. Okay, so there is a difference between unity of direction and unity of command. Command is reporting the relationships, okay, and unity of direction means about the functioning of organization. Once the person who is the superior will give the directions, and according to that directions only all the people will follow and all the group will follow. Okay, now we will study about the sixth type of the principle of management, which is subordination of individual interest to general interest, or the general interest means collective interest. Okay, interest of the organization should take priority over individual interest. That means the organizational interest should take and handle over the individual interest also. Okay, if individual and organizational interests are different, then managers must try to reconcile them. Okay, if these two interests, like the individual or the personal interest and the interest of an organizational interest, okay, these two interests are different, then the managers must try to reconcile them or solve them. Okay, try to manage them so that the conflicts may not occur. Okay, if not, then individual interest must be sacrificed. If it is not solved, okay, then individual interest should not be there, only the organizational interest would be there. Okay, so that according to the organizational interest only the goal would be achieved. And in that, the factors like the laziness, ambition, selfishness, carelessness, all these factors must be reduced so that the organizational interest may not affect. Okay, so that is why subordination of individual interest will be there to the general interest. That means only individual interest should not lie, all the collective interest should be there.